Alright, today we are demonstrating our IV411Z-960H hybrid DVR. This particular machine will take analog cameras, IP cameras, or a combination of both. So what we're going to do is right mouse driven. I right click and it brings up my main menu. I'm going to come over here to main menu, and the very first thing an installer is going to do when he's out in the field is he's going to go to record channel and channel type. And the reason why this is the very first thing he does is he is picking the type of configuration he wants for this particular model or application. So you can see it goes by rows here. So right now I have selected 4 channels under 960H analog. The next option I have is 4 channels under analog D1. Again, the reason why we give you different options here is if you're utilizing an inexpensive 480 line camera or a 540 line camera, you do not need to set it up under 960H technology because it's not recording higher than 540 lines. 960H theoretically takes about 30% more record space on your hard drive than does regular D1 analog. So if you're going with cost-effective cameras, you will want to select the D1 under analog. Also, each option you choose, you will notice right here your number of playbacks change. So that's another reason why if you're going with 960 over D1, the number of cameras can change the number of playback channels. So 4, 8, and 16 will differentiate in terms of how many are supported in playback. So keep an eye on that. So the next option here is my first hybrid. I'll have 2 D1 analog cameras, one 1080p IP camera, and one 720p IP camera. This is going to be a popular configuration option for us. The next one is actually going to allow you 9 IP cameras that are under D1 resolution. Some cameras will offer you the flexibility to record at 1080p, 720p, and D1, so it depends on the camera and what options are available. They do not offer, not all cameras offer all resolutions like that, so don't use that as a rule of thumb. Make sure you call and ask which cameras have the D1 recording capability. This 4-channel box also will allow you to have a 960 IP camera. Currently we do not have any available, but that will be coming out in the near future. The next option that will be used quite a bit is a 4-channel 1.3 megapixel. At this point it is an entry-level NVR. So with the same machine, the same platform, the same GUI interface, I now have a 4-channel analog DVR, I have a 2 1-in-1 hybrid combination, or I can have a 4-channel entry-level NVR. I say entry-level because it's not running sophisticated third-party software. We have about 10 IP cameras that are fully integrated. It is ONVIF compliant, so if you have an ONVIF camera that you like the price point, you like the image of it, you're more than welcome to send us the camera. We will do the full test of it to make sure it will work with the system before you get caught between a rock and a hard place. So don't assume that just because you have an ONVIF camera and my DVR is ONVIF compliant that they're going to work together seamlessly. Either bring in a DVR and test it, or allow us to test it, and we'll let you know what functions work, if it works at all, if we recommend going forward with it or not. You can also, on the next option, you can have 2 1080p cameras. So this would be if you just wanted 2 megapixel type cameras, maybe on your front door and cash register, a really small area, instead of having to go with third-party software and putting on a work computer. For a 4-channel DVR price here, you can add 2 cameras on there, and it's a really inexpensive option. And again, the 8 and 16 will allow you more configurations, but again, it reads by row here. So what I currently have, and I'm going to right-click to back up, so I'm going to get back into it. What I currently have set up is 2 D1 analog, one 1080p, and one 720p. This right here is equivalent to a 2 megapixel, and this one right here is equivalent to a 1.3 megapixel. Now, the next thing I'm going to show you is how easy it is to add and remove an IP camera. So again, I'm going to right click and come over here to record channel. I'm going to go to digital channels. And so right now, if you notice, I have an IP camera on channel 3 and channel 4 has nothing. I'm going to come to select channel 4 and make sure it's enabled. I'm going to hit add and search. Generally the search feature takes about 7 to 15 seconds. It's not very long. It's going to search out the router and find my IP address. The second it finds it, I am going to double click, and I'll show you what happens when I double click. So here it is, it's found my camera. If you notice, the device address does not match. So when I double click, it automatically inputs that information for me. The reason why I like to highlight this is for 2 reasons. One, it's a time-saving feature. And a lot of times when you're out in the field as an installer, you're doing multiple things. Your phone might be ringing, you might be helping out another technician focus the camera. There's a lot of things that could be grabbing your attention away from inputting this particular information in this box. So by double clicking it, one, it removes human error, and two, it's a lot quicker. So now that I've double clicked and it's in here, I hit OK. I make sure again that it's enabled. I hit OK. And my IP camera is now up and running. So it removes the user or the installer from having to go in and input the information himself. It saves about 30 minutes per IP camera. Our studies have shown that to add an IP camera into a normal IP system, that you're looking at least 30 minutes per camera. By us pre-configuring a router prior to going out on site, this is an easy way to add and remove an IP camera. So I'm going to go ahead and come back in to digital channels, and I'm going to delete channel 3 just to show you on a different camera. I'll highlight it. I'm going to hit delete. Okay. My IP camera has now gone. So I have a blank screen here. I'm going to come back in, and I'm going to take just a few seconds to make sure it's enabled. I'm on camera 3. I'm going to hit add, search, let the search feature find my camera again. I'm going to double click, make sure it's enabled, and I'm going to add it back onto my DVR. And it should come up any second now. There it is again. Double click, it adds it for me. Hit OK. Make sure I'm enabling the right one. And I'm back up and recording. You notice these are the same. I have just duplicated one IP camera. Alright. The next thing I'm going to show you is the alarm input. So here's all your different tabs from your alarm set. The very first one is motion detection. You come in here and you select what camera you want. Make sure it's enabled. What sensitivity you want. So we have different levels of sensitivity. We recommend middle to highest at least. So I'm going to come into highest, select my region. Right now everything is set for motion recording. I can click individual blocks in case there's a tree that sways in the wind, if there's a ceiling fan that's moving and I do not want it to trigger my recording, I can now block that out. Or I can click and drag if it's a larger area. And I can do this per channel. So you can set it up under different sensitivities if one of them is a higher need area. And I can fine tune each individual camera for what I want in terms of motion. Now for camera 2, I want it to record on the camera. So right now, nothing is selected. Now that you see, nothing's highlighted. Channel 2, motion's triggered. I want it to record on motion. I'm going to select that. The word tour here means that it's basically a pop-up. So if I wanted channel 2 to pop up on motion, which I'm going to go ahead and go back to camera 1 since I have a camera on there to show you this. So camera 1, that side, let's see here, got it all set up for motion. I'm going to set it up to pop up, and I'm going to go ahead and show you what the message looks like on that as well. So right now, I just moved my hand in front of camera 1. It popped up full screen so that if I have a guard or somebody that is paying attention, maybe it's a front door, it gets their attention because I no longer have a quad view, it's full screen, as well as a box here that's letting me know what's going on in terms of different features we have on the DVR and what channel. So I'm going to move my hand again. You'll see motion is recording on channel 1 right now. So I'm going to back out and turn that feature off. And I'll take these two off. So the next one under alarm input is your video blind. Video blind is different than video loss or scene change. The camera has not moved, the power is still functioning, the camera is still recording. Video blind is important if you have a live security guard there watching video and this feature comes up. Again, it shows the box just like I showed you on motion, but under camera 1 it would say video blind or whatever camera is sensing that something's going on. This is important so that way when they go to investigate, they know to take extra precaution to know that something is physically blocking the camera, whether it's a coat hanging over a bullet camera, somebody's hand physically blocking the dome camera, somebody's hit it with the spray can or a paintball gun. It's letting them know that it's something different than normal video loss or video motion triggering the event, so that way they're extra cautious when they're going around that corner to see what's going on and investigate. Video loss again is the camera was functioning just fine. There's no signal coming back to the DVR now, so maybe a power cord's been cut, maybe a lightning strike, something's going on with the camera, you need to have a technician look at it. Your abnormality, again we suggest you set it up for storage no space, just to let you know that the hard drive is not functioning properly. You enable this, And again, if it's in a closet or in a back room where the DVR is not fully visible, they're not checking on it daily, I would set up the buzzer. Everybody's heard a DVR buzz before. It's extremely annoying, but if that's the situation, it will get the end user's attention to go investigate why their DVR is making noise. If not, if it's something that they're logging into pretty continuously or on a set schedule, I would have it show message. Again, it's going to bring up that box like I showed you on motion. It's going to let them know that there's been a hard drive failure. This way they have to actually back out of this menu in order to see the full screen. And they can't log in and see live video and think that their hard drive is performing correctly. We are also in the process of writing in, it will be done via firmware upgrade, to have an email notification. Once that is released, I recommend that the installer puts in his own service email address, so that way if a hard drive does fail, they get the email on their own service department email's address. They can contact the end user, and they're actually bringing attention to the end user that there's a problem, that they're going to come out and service the machine, as opposed to getting the call from the end user. Typically when you are on top of the ball and you contact them and let them know there's an issue going on, they're much more grateful and appreciative, and not as upset when they have to call you to inform you there's a problem. The last thing under alarm set is the intelligence. We offer one free channel of video analytics for this unit. It is only on the analog side, so if you set it up for an entry-level NVR, the video analytics will not work. Now, I will say it is a free video analytics. We are not charging you per channel. We're not charging per camera. It's never going to be something like Video IQ or Milestone software capable analytics. But what you would do is you come in here. Again, it's channel 1. You enable it, and you select which type of video analytics you want. We have 3 different types here, so I'm going to start with perimeter alert. You hit set, and again, I can show traces, which basically I'll show you what that is in a second. You set your kind of moving distance and your sensitivity, and you have 2 different options under this perimeter alert. Cordon is basically line crossing, and warning area is a region of interest. So I'm going to start with the line crossing. I'm going to hit set. I'm going to right click and hit add. Oh, hit set, right click, hit add. Now I'm going to left click and create a line. So is it important for me to capture people moving from left to right to left, or both? The reason why you want to set something up like this is that way when you're doing playback, there's a color-coded bar that I'll show you in a little bit, and it will trigger it as red, so that anytime you want to go back and do playback for somebody crossing a specific area, let's say it's employees only and something's been stolen, it'll trigger the event, so that way it's not your standard color-coded recording, and you can easily go playback every time that line has been crossed. The next one is the warning area or region of interest. Again, I'm going to right click and hit add. Now I'm going to left click and I'm going to create a little box here. Right click in it. Now do I want to have it when people enter it, leave it, or both? An example of this would be if it's an Ace Hardware and they have a back row of expensive power tools. They notice at the end of the day one of them's been stolen. So instead of having to do playback for the entire day and watch every time somebody enters and leaves that area to find out when that power tool has been stolen, this is Manaf, one of our technicians. I'm going to go ahead and wait for the camera. Again, they can go back to playback. The video analytics triggers as red and not green, and that way they can easily play the occurrence every single time to find out when and where it was stolen, and not spend all day to find that. Back out of this. And again, I'm just right clicking a lot of times to hit back. So I'm going to come back into here, come back over to intelligence, enable. The next one is going to be items care. Come back to hit set. Again, you change your sensitivity, your target size. Detection time is going to be anywhere between 2 and 15 seconds. If you try to put in something more, it's going to automatically default back to 15. So, items stranded, items left behind, items stolen, missing objects, and illegal parking. Again, with this one, you have items stranded or items left behind. You hit set, I right click, I hit add, and again, I'm just creating a general little area. To me, a good example would be if I have a small docking area and shipping in and out is crucial to my day-to-day operation. I have a certain area cleared out so that UPS can come in and grab my shipments and drop shipments off. And again, this is crucial for my day-to-day operation. I cannot have this messed with because now I'm losing money and time. So I've dedicated a specific area to be cleared out. And let's say, for example, somebody had to run to the restroom. They left their forklift in this general area. UPS came in, and because it was blocking this, I ended up having a shipment not go out, which now I have to call an upset customer, apologize, pay to have it overnighted, so now I'm losing money on my sale, my margins have decreased, and it's created a huge headache. Instead of having to go back and do a playback of the entire day to find out when and why that forklift was there, the video analytics triggers to where I can easily go find my detailed recording and find out it was Johnny on the forklift. Now I can go have a conversation with him as to why that was left there. The next one is going to be items stolen. Again, because this is a free video analytic, I would recommend you fully test this feature out. It only costs you the time to do so. Hang a camera. I recommend you have a straight downward angle or a good angle from the corner of a room. You would create a target area of something inside that. We have YouTube videos of a glove, so if you want to see it in action, we can definitely send a video link of it and how to set it up and fine tune it. But this is something that, like a license plate camera, you never guarantee to the end user, because once you use the word guarantee, something's going to go wrong, it won't work, and you're up creek without a paddle. It's kind of Murphy's Law. You're going to say it's going to give you the best option of capturing that. Again, it's free, so don't use the word guarantee. And again, spend a little time, play with it, so that way you know how to adequately set it up and sell it to the end user. The next one is illegal parking. To me, this is going to be used more than the other two, just for the simple fact end users can be extremely anal about different things, and rightfully so. It affects their day-to-day operation, and that can range from their personal parking spot, the employee of the month's parking spot, a dumpster in the back being illegally used. So you would set up, again, you come in here, right click, hit add, your left click, you're defining your target area. I hit add. Oh, I didn't need to hit add again, I apologize. Let me create this. Delete that one. And again, you can change your detection time from 2 to 15 seconds. So again, if the end user is having problems with the dumpster being used by a company down the street and they're being fined for things being thrown away, they can highlight that area so that if a car comes in and it stays more than 2 seconds, it picks it up. You can have it recording continuously, but it will trigger the event, so that way they can go back and find out who's using their dumpster, turn it over to the authorities, prove that it's not them that's illegally dumping things in there, and get the fines waived. So these are just different functions. Again, it ranges to 15 seconds. I would personally set it up for 2. I would rather it trigger the event or highlight it under the video analytics, and I can easily skip through that to the next occurrence as opposed to me missing something. And last but not least is the video diagnostic. You can actually enable every last one of these simultaneously to work. This would be an example if you have just a regular 700 line camera set up under 960H recording on your cash register. I would want to know if there's any kind of anomaly working on that camera. If my screen's freezing, if the picture's coming in and out, anything, just because it's an important camera to me, and I don't want to find out later that I've had a scene change or the screen freezes and my till ends up being short. So this way it will trigger that something's going on with your camera, so that you can go back and make sure your employees are not tampering with it. Alright, let me show you playback from what I was discussing earlier. If you notice here, you have red, yellow, and green. Currently there's red and green. So if I have motion, I'm going to take off sync. So if you have multiple cameras here, right now it's telling me the maximum number of playback supported is 2, because I have it set under a hybrid feature. But you'll see that continuous recording is in green. If I have motion or video analytics on channel 1, it's going to highlight red. So if I have a video analytics set up on channel 1 here, and you'll see 1 and 3, 1 and 3, I can take off 3 and add 2. And so that way, when I come over here and I hit play, if I don't hit sync, I can actually do playback from 2 different time points simultaneously. But each line here corresponds with which channel I'm going to use. So I'm going to hit stop, sync, I have cameras 1 and 2, I double click anywhere in my timeline. I do not have a camera set up at that point, is the reason why it's showing black. This is the point where we actually hooked up some cameras. At the same time, I do not have to choose the timeline. I can actually come over here and generate a list. It tells me what type of recording. So regular, motion, I'm just double clicking. I'm going to scroll all the way to the bottom. And actually, let me stop. Alright. So let me get back over here to my list. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to double click on any of them. and it immediately jumps the playback to that time frame. Now if I decide I want to download this is the file that I want, I select it, this option appears, and now I can back up. I do not have a thumb drive in at the moment. If I did, it would allow me to back up right then and there. It also tells me the length of the file. So this one here is not quite 2 minutes. It's 1 minute and 50 seconds. It also tells me the size. If I decide I really don't need all this information here, I really only need about 10 or 15 seconds of this file, I can come in here, click the editing button, let my event take place, click it again, now hit backup, and back up just that segment of the file, so I can actually save my hard drive space and my time. At the same time, I can further drill down on my timeline here. So right now I'm playing back at 4:58. I can come click over here and I'm doing a playback at 5:39. I can slide it over here and move my timeline further to the right. This is at a 2-hour window now, so you see 16:30 to 18:30. I can further drill down and make this time bar represent 1 hour, so now it's from 1740 to 1840, or I can even drill it down further to where it's from 1800 to 1830, so I can really drill down. It's got a 3-minute between blocks here, and so that I can easily jump around and navigate to the exact specific time point that I'm looking for. One of the questions we have received is that the fast forward only goes up to 4 times fast forward. The reason why we do not include anything faster than this point, faster than 4 times fast forward, is generally speaking, when you're trying to go 16, 32, and 64 times fast forward speed, you're just simply jumping from one point of time to another. With this, I can actually just go ahead and double click and immediately jump there and save my time. When it's fast forwarding that fast, or it's rewinding that fast, you're really not capturing anything. Again, you're just jumping from point A to point B in terms of time. Last but not least, I can come in here and I can input the specific time frame that I'm looking for. So if I want 1 a.m. to 1:10 a.m., I can actually input that time period in here as well. So it gives the end user 3 different ways to download the video or an event that they've seen taking place. Again, we hope that they never have to use it. We hope that they forget, and that they can call us and we'll do it for them in their moment of need. Hopefully they never have an occurrence and this is a feature they never even have to mess with, but we know that's just not the case. And again, our tech support is 24/7 for emergencies. If it's an end user and the police department's there at 3 a.m., they need to get the video over to them, they can call us. If it's online, we'll actually log in and download the video for them every single time. So I hit right click, I'm going to hit up a window, which is back. Come back into my main menu. So I've now shown you playback, the alarm input, record channel. Again, this is just some information letting you know what's going on with the DVR. Put logged in, so that you can check in to see who's logging in if changes have been made. It's also going to tell you what version you have. So that way if there's ever a firmware upgrade, we can look in, we can see what's going on with it. If we need to do a firmware upgrade, how old it is, things of that nature. Here's your network. So if you're doing your traditional port forwarding, this would be your screenshot for that. The net service here, and again on the port forwarding, this is something that this is our #1 tech support call. Our technicians deal with this day in, day out. It's probably about 90% of our tech support calls are port forwarding related. We will do it every single time. We have a book on a number of different routers, so if you've come across a router you're not familiar with, please don't beat your head against a brick wall. Save time, call our tech support, take a laptop with you on site, we'll log into a TeamViewer session, take control, and we'll do the port forwarding for you. So if you have a new installer, this is something that it can be good on the site training, or we can just get it done where he can get off the site and move on to another job installation and make more margins for the company. So again, we take notes on every tech support call, so if we notice about the 3rd or 4th time that every single time you just want us to port forward and get you off the job site, we're going to do that. If we notice that you want us to slow down and use it as on-site training, we will continue to slow down and show you what we're doing step for step. So again, it depends on the preference of the installer. If you click the Net Service tab, it looks like a general information page, but if you double click on email, you'll notice this is where you can actually enable and set up your email address for notifications. So if you have motion triggered and you want an email snapshot, the DVR will send you an email snapshot. It will not send you a video clip. The next one is your Wi-Fi. This DVR does not come standard with the Wi-Fi adapter, but it is available. So if you ever come across an application where running a hard cable back to your router is not possible, let's say it's an old nice home, they don't want you drilling through it, or the attic's inaccessible, whatever be the case, you're going to come across it from time to time. We do have a wireless adapter that will work off Wi-Fi. You have about a 35-foot range max. Maybe 40, just depends on any kind of interference, anything of that nature. We also have a cloud-based port forwarding that is pre-registered when it leaves our facility here in Dallas. At the moment, we are recommending the cloud-based port forwarding to be used when for 3 different applications. One, when the end user has forgotten their username or password to the router, but they absolutely require it on their smartphone or remote capability before they sign the check and get you off the site. Set it up for the cloud, get your check, and leave. I will say it does work. Right now, the traditional port forwarding functions a lot better. It's a little quicker, and it's a little more, the functionality is a little better. So we are working to improve the cloud-based port forwarding. And at the time, I do personally recommend traditional port forwarding, but in cases where it's just not possible, the cloud-based port forwarding is a good route to take. The other case would be a difficult IT guy does not want to give you access through his firewalls. Again, you can bypass him, put it on the network without him having any input in it. And again, just the IT guy being on vacation, you can always put it on the cloud and coordinate a time to come back when he's back available. This is something that if you do port forward via the cloud, the end user is more than welcome to call us at a later time and set it up for traditional port forwarding if they so choose. That is something we will work with them on, and it's not required for you to be on site. You come into the system, again, you're allowed to change the date, time, all that good stuff. So if Congress decides the daylight savings has changed again, you do not have to be in the field to change this. It can be done remotely. When it leaves our facilities, we actually have it pre-configured for 7 frames recording and 3 frames streaming. We have it set for quarter SIF, and we have it set for D1. We set it for these parameters as standard when they leave our facilities, just because if they never get changed and you have it set for a SIF image at 30 frames per second, you're going to eat up somebody's upload speed. So if it's on one network, it's a small business with credit card machines and a couple company computers, you definitely do not want to affect their day-to-day operations. So that's the reason why we recommend a quarter SIF image and 3 frames per second. Now you can change this. This is just what we have set standard. The reason why we set it for quarter SIF is more likely than not they are reviewing it on a smartphone. My iPhone is only capable of seeing a quarter SIF image, so it does not make sense to stream anything larger than that. One, I'm trying to protect my own data plan. The moment I use up so much data on my AT&T plan, I notice my service slows down. It's not supposed to, but I can always tell when my billing cycle is coming to an end. If they're looking in on a desktop, an iPad, any kind of remote PC, we would stream a SIF image. And it's important for the installer to explain to the end user that this is just a convenience feature for them to log in and see what's currently taking place. That it's only a snippet of what's going on the DVR. The DVR is recording at what you set it up at. So you can set it up for D1, you can set it up for the 960th frame rate, could be 30 frames per second, all the way down to 1. But you're streaming just a snippet of what's going on so that they can remotely log in and make sure that their front counter is being attended to and that not everybody's playing around in the employee lounge, or if it's a daycare, they can log in and watch their kids. But again, you do not want to affect day-to-day operations in terms of the bandwidth and the upload speed. You can change your GUI, the location of where things are, your channel titles, so you can actually name your cameras. I currently have on camera 1 that's full screen here is our BB742. It's a bullet camera. Again, normally you wouldn't relabel cameras unless it's someone logging or someone's watching, such as a guard for live view. I would definitely label this camera 1 east wing, front lobby, west wing, whatever be the case, because in a moment of need I do not want them to have to rely on memory to say, okay, this is east wing, and it actually be west wing, and something ends up happening because the reaction speed was too slow. If you label the camera name and it says that, then I trust that they can read in the moment of need and crunch time, as opposed to having to make a split-second decision. You can set up your PDZ cameras. There's a number of different protocols that it works with. Again, if you have any trouble, please don't bang your head against a brick wall. Call us. Our tech support is here to help, and we will help configure these PDZ cameras, no problem, no questions asked. You can set up tours as well. And if something's triggered, you can even set it up to where it pops up full screen. The next one here, just want to do that as advanced. And I'm just showing you different features on here. We do recommend the DVR reboots at least once a week. A lot of times people want to set it up to where it never reboots. It's like a computer. If you leave your personal PC on running 24/7, 365, at some point in time it needs to shut down and reboot and refresh itself, or you're going to end up having a bad computer. So this is basically a glorified computer in terms of its recording video and audio. You need to have it reboot periodically. It does not need to be every day, but we recommend at least once a week. We typically set it up pre-configured for 12 p.m. so that way normally stores are closed and it's recording on motion at that time anyway. Lastly, you have different accounts. So the admin obviously has every privilege. You've got to be careful in what you're setting up in terms of privileges for a guest, because you never want to give them backup or download capabilities. If just for an example, if there's a slip and fall in a store and you've given them the capability to log in because it's a part of their job duty to make sure people underneath them are working efficiently and they're not goofing off, but somebody slips and falls, if you give them download capability, they can always upload that to YouTube. End user or whoever did fall ends up finding it on YouTube. They don't find it funny and they sue the owner of the store. The owner no longer finds it funny. So you have to be careful who you're giving different privileges to. So backup, what is it? Shutting down, schedule, just changing different features of the DVR. You never want them to be able to go rob you blind and then wipe your hard drive out. So be careful. You might want to just give them login capabilities and leave it at that. At the same time, you can actually set up groups with the same permissions. So instead of having to have 10 different accounts set up here for 10 different employees, if you're all just trying to have them the capability of logging in to do a playback to make sure somebody was working, then you can set them all up under the same account. And that is it in a nutshell. If there's any questions, please do not hesitate to give us a call. Our sales number is 972-247-1203. Press 1 for sales, press 2 for tech support. We're here Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to about 6 p.m. Central Time. If it's after hours and you have an installation or you expect to be working on a weekend, we ask that you call our sales department. We will get with the technician to find out who has duties that weekend, and we will schedule a time for you so that way you're not out in the field waiting on a call back. We'll have somebody waiting on you to call in for support. We thank you for your time. We hope you have a great day.